Hey guys, I am John Carrick. I am the author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox, science fiction fantasy novels for you on Amazon, Smashwords, right here on YouTube as audiobooks. And there's a few things I want to talk about today. We are going to look at Conan, Jewels of Gwahlur, number 2 by P. Craig Russell with Lovern Kinzerski on colors. And this is good. This is what I want to talk about. This leads us right into everything I want to say about the industry, about how to pursue a career in the comic and fiction industry, not just movies, not just video games, not just comic books. I'm doing something very specific. I know exactly what I'm doing. And what I love about this comic is the girl. Yela, I think is her name. Yaela, something like that. And she's really good. She's really well done. Conan in this book is not, it's sort of like chubby Conan, fat Conan. If Conan was a linebacker and had a bad mullet, I'm not jealous of Conan's hairstyle in this one. I'm just letting mine go. Mine's more about rebellion to authority. And I'm just sort of done with there's no legitimate authority in the world today. So here, Conan and the princess are going to pull a scam on these priests who are kind of like they're doing sort of a divination ceremony with her. She's sitting here waiting for them to show up, and they're going to ask her who she wants to lead the armies of this country. The version of this, I didn't want to say the version of this that I read and say it sort of so much better, and John Buscema did it right, because I really do love how P. Craig Russell does the forest. I love his Conan sneaking around. There's a lot of exploring in this, and there was a lot of exploring in the book, or in the short story. I guess it's a short story or novella. It wasn't that long. I do love this bit, the silhouettes, him moving through the forest, and he sees someone watching him, and he's trying to gauge where this guy is. This is just indulgent art. It is good. He's a great artist. He's a great artist. He's just not a great Conan artist. This version of Conan is not great. And let me tell you what's going on. It looks like I missed a part. I didn't see it. Where is it? So he's out here watching this forest, and he sees this guy's head. He sees this guy's face. His head. I guess I gave it away. He sees his face in the trees, but he's impossibly high, and he's not moving. And so Conan's sneaking closer, and he realizes that it's a head hanging from its hair. It is. It's really good art. It's just... So now we have a long period of time where the priests are approaching this princess who is sitting on the throne and has all these jewels on her. They get in there. Conan sneaks into the back alcove and tells her what to say. They're asking who should we have lead our armies, and the guy whose head he found is named Bit Yakin, and he was the guy who's competing for the position as commander, as general of the armies. And he's the one who set this up. Conan has found it, has discovered this whole plot, and is adjusting it to his ends. So the priests get in there without Bit Yakin. Obviously, he's dead. That's who Conan's up against. This is beautiful artwork. This girl. Wow. Too bad she's not an actress, and otherwise, it's a bad Conan TV show. But she's great. She's drawn really well. I love her eyes. I love her expressions. And we get this good bit where Conan is behind her telling her what to say. And then they worship her. They're like all bowing down to her. She tells them to bugger off. Conan sneaks back out. Hears her scream. This happens a couple times, right? So I did want to talk about this. This isn't about the comic, and this isn't about the industry. This is about storytelling, and this is good. a number of things happen in this issue where Conan is with her and then leaves her to go sneak around and do some shit. And while he's gone, all the pieces are moved around. The whole game changes. Every time he leaves the stage, if this were a play, this is written, now remember, this is written by Robert E. Howard in the late 20s, early 30s. So if this were a play, every time Conan leaves the stage, all the players have some event take place that completely upends the rules of the game, sort of as he knew it. And that's what happens here. So as soon as he leaves, he hears her screaming, and now this guy has come into the mix. I believe he's one of Bit-Yakin's generals, who does not know that Bit-Yakin is dead yet, and he's threatening the girl, and Conan blasts him with his sword. And suddenly, with that panel, I understood exactly what I was dealing with this comic. This is a weird PG-13 version of a Conan comic book. We get this sword up against the head with no blood. Then we get Conan standing over the body, ready to drive the sword home with no panel where he does so. He gets interrupted, and we're just supposed to believe that he did kill this guy. And apparently he did. He says he did. He's bloody down here in this tiny little panel, this little sliver panel. There's some blood on his chest. I'm going to move that right up there. So Dark Horse is writing a Conan comic book for 9-year-olds, and he looks like a fat dad. Conan the Dad-Bod. This is not that. This is not that. Although you do get, the next page you get an ad for Underoos and Conan sneaking around some more. I think the rest of this comic is Conan doing Tomb Raider, sneaking through this abandoned palace and not fighting anybody and not seeing anybody and not talking to anybody. He finds some hieroglyphics. Woohoo! Conan wants the girls. The other thing that happens is when he's talking to her, he noticed that she lost the gem in her hair, and he sends her back to find it. He's like, the jewels you're wearing are more than enough. That's everything we need. We don't need any of this other stuff. Just me and you. We can get out of here. And she's all for it. But then he keeps leaving her alone, and crazy shit happens. See here, he comes in and finds, is this where, yeah. He comes in and finds another one. He finds another version. Yayla is sitting on the throne again and not moving, and the jewels are in her hair, and supposedly it's the real goddess. And then he finds a bit of her skirt trapped between these rocks. So apparently the real, like, I guess what the interlopers did, they took the real uncorrupting corpse down. They knew what it looked like, put her in its place. And then once it was over, put the actual dead girl, the uncorrupted dead girl, back. And the rest of this is just Conan wandering through the passages, reading about it, doing exposition, backstory, flashbacks. Finally, he finds a blood trail way down at the bottom of this next page. And he finds a very old temple. The art is beautiful. It's just not Conan. The art is great. The art is great. And then we get this. I love her. She's a Valkyrie. Beautiful blonde girls with blue and green eyes. It's about as good as it gets. But you can't do a Conan comic based on the love interest. She can't be the only interesting thing. So, yeah, Jewels of Gwahlur #2, P. Craig Russell, Levern Kanzerski from Trencher. I don't know if P. Craig Russell also did the Aeon Flux comics that we looked at. I think that was someone else. So there is no way to describe this conflicted card. I believe it's a 10 of hearts, as other than pretty brutal. And I can't answer this. Your compound has been ransacked by a gang. and their leader has you all bound up. Think Negan in The Walking Dead, right? Negan has everyone tied up, and instead of killing someone with a baseball bat, he tells you he's taking someone from your group with him. It's up to you. He's going to leave it up to you as to who and why. I don't know how to answer that question. That's impossible. And it's family in this. It's not even just group. It's your family. Who do you give up from your family? I can't answer that. That's an insane question. I'm not going to play. I reject their proposal. But in terms of comics and this, in terms of this specifically, and what a studio should do, like Dark Horse or like Alpha Channel Games, let's pretend we had 3 successful video games and half a dozen successful crowdfunded comics, right? What should we do as a studio? Maybe if we're just selling right into the direct market and it's really working out for us. I believe the direct market is dead. I believe the local comic shops and Marvel and DC and Diamond Publishing have killed their industry. It will limp on for another 20 or 30 years, but it's never going to the only thing that's going to revitalize comics would be the death of legacy characters. And I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to double down on legacy characters, and it's going to limp on kind of the way it is. Bad Marvel, like this new Spider-Man trailer is horrible. Nobody likes it. That stuff's not going to work out. I think we're going to see, in the pulp market, I think we're going to see a resurgence of horror and one-shot stories, short stories. I think that's what we're going to see a lot of. And I think that's going to show up in the form of digital comics and self-published stuff. I don't think it's going to be through traditional publishers. I think traditional publishers are dead. I think the middleman is dead. The Jew middleman is dead. And the future is every independent artist is an independent publisher. Whether it's on DeviantArt and ArtStation and Fund My Comic and Drive-Thru Comic and Indiegogo and Kickstarter or all of them, the publisher is dead. There will never be another Tom DeFalco or Bill Gemma. Bill Gemma fucked over. I quit Marvel because Bill Gemma was a cunt. I didn't know it was him, but it was him. And I didn't know I was quitting when I quit, but I did quit. I was never really hired. I was sort of sponsored in that they were reading my stuff and idea farming it. And I got sick of that after about 6 or 8 months, and they agreed to publish a couple Spider-Man stories. And the original stories I sent in, they didn't like and had me change them. I never told this story. They had me write stuff that I really didn't like. And when I sent in the signed forms and then they just never responded and never published them, I guess they didn't find an artist who wanted to do them and didn't feel they needed to tell me. I was really happy about it. It would have been an embarrassment. I would not have wanted my name on those Spider-Man stories. They were not what I wanted to write. It was just not good stuff. It was good. It was passable, but it wasn't representative of what I wanted to do. I had a really good story about Spider-Man's web shooters going out, and he fell into an alley where some gang kids were, and they picked a fight with him. And that was what they said. We can't have fights for no reason. And that's actually in the trailer of the new one, where Spider-Man falls into an alley and some kids are going to beat him up for no reason. So it's gone, and this would have been like 2004, 2006 that I would have been sending this in. But now it's all gay and retarded and trans, and their bullies are bullies again. So I'll never have anything to do with those companies and never have a middleman again. Why do a licensed character? This is what I wanted to get to. Why would you ever do a licensed character, especially to retell a story that's been done by much better artists than you? The smartest thing Dark Horse could have done would have been to license all the Savage Sword stuff from Marvel and color it and publish it. They would have made a lot more money doing that. A lot more money. This is I only bought 2 issues of this. Fat Dad-Bod Conan with a mullet and a pretty girl in a story I've already read. It's kind of like every time you get a Silver Surfer story, it's the arrival of Galactus and Shalla Ball. It would be like if the only Spider-Man stories we ever got was the Uncle Ben tragedy at the very beginning. Why redo the same old shit over and over and over again? You have these characters, tell something new with them. And then the new shit is garbage too. So I think legacy characters are dead. I'd rather see a bad original than a good cover. I consider this to be this is a passable cover. It's not even a good cover. If this was music, this is like a bad rendition of an Eagles song. Nobody, you killed trees for this? You killed trees for this? No, sir. I'm not going to rip it up. It's a Conan comic, but still. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say. That was part of my rant. Also, the thing about comic books is comic books are make work for Spurs, right? In the Middle Ages, they had religion, and they would have them painting frescoes and writing poetry about Jesus. That's all comic books are. That's all anything is. That's all martial arts is. I saw that in the martial arts schools that I went to. There were people there who were there for the community, and the health was a byproduct, you know? There were people there who were there for the information, and the community was a byproduct. There were people there who were there for self-esteem, and the rest of it was a byproduct. I was lucky. I was there for the information. I'd already gotten physically fit. I was as fit as anybody in the class. So I was there to steal the how-tos and put them in comics and books. And I did. That's exactly what I did. I had to go to Kung Fu. I wrote this one first because this one's science fiction after she was a ballerina. This is really about fighting people. This is about courage. This one is about where you get that courage. And so I had to go to Kung Fu school I went in the beginning to learn, but I stayed because I loved it. It's really standing grappling. That's really kind of what Wing Chun Kung Fu are in a lot of ways. It's jiu-jitsu, but on your feet, in some respects, in a lot of respects. So, yeah, write what you know. If you don't know it, go learn it. That's why I've been learning skateboarding, so I can put it in this video game I'm working on, where she rides a hoverboard. And it's I'm not going to talk about that right now because it's too long and it's a lot of fun and I'll just spurg out. But there is one other thing I wanted to say. I had mentioned that in fiction, when there's a treasure, the characters don't win it. What the characters win in fiction is community. In real life, you don't have to win community. All you have to do is ask for it. In real life, all you have to do is show up. They say that 80% of life is showing up. That's true. And there's a chapter in here where one of the characters who's not in the story, but is influential to the story, is able to go into a corrupt institution and influence it for the better and to make it a good institution. My favorite chapter in the Robe is about Marcellus Gallio goes to a small town called Arpino in chapter 22. This is uploaded as an audiobook on my channel from the audiobook. I stole it from the YouTube audiobook. I clipped it and put it out there for you guys, where Marcellus Gallio goes to the small town of Arpino and finds not a corrupt landowner, but a bully of a landowner. And everyone's kind of miserable because the culture starts from the top and comes down. So he is able to influence this guy and change the culture of this town. And that, to me, that's the great kind of accomplishment you want to have. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much influence for the better you can exert throughout your life. I'm starting my journey now. This is what, episode 243? I'm not out here to make money. I'm not out here to make myself better. I'm out here to share experiences I've had that have made me a better person and the pursuits that I've chosen that have left negative things behind. And so really where you look this is great advice. This is sort of Red Bull skating, tricking advice. Where you look is where you land. And the same thing goes for life. Your direction is your destiny. What you're focused on becomes who you are. At some point you have to, I saw someone recently saying, I love DC Comics, Detective Comics. I just don't like the decisions they make. At some point, the decisions you make become who you are. When is up to the other people around you. You don't get to decide. They do. That's your reputation. So, Happy New Year. See you guys tomorrow.